Good morning and happy first day of March. Welcome to Coffee with Kristin and Tina. We're your hosts. This is Kristin Odell of KLO LLC. I'm Tina Prigge with Vagabond Creative Studio. So happy to see you. Kristin, you look great this morning.
Thank you. That's so complimentary. I think you also look great because we're clearly channeling each other's outfits again.
And there's no like forethought about this, that we haven't pre-planned this, but yeah, I think with the fun patterns and the dark vests, right, we look like we go together. It's awesome.
I just am always in awe of how we do this to each other, and I love it. I think it's so fun.
I think it's a good sign of how we're connected, right? You know, they say great minds think alike, and here we are having this cool coffee conversation every week, and lo and behold, you can see it sometimes in how we choose to dress.
We look like we're in uniform. I know, it's too funny.
Oh, happy Punchki Day. Good morning from Fond du Lac. Hello, Stephen.
Yum.
Does that mean that this is Fat Tuesday?
It is Fat Tuesday today. Mm-hmm.
Hey, happy Fat Tuesday.
This is the day that Mardi Gras kicks off, right? And yeah, it's the beginning of some religious holidays for some, like tomorrow's Ash Wednesday for Catholics and maybe a few others. And yeah, it's the beginning of spring.
That's nice. That is awesome. I'm still hung up on Fat Tuesday because for me, it's every day is a fat day.
Wait a second. I think you have a meme that goes with this.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't upload that one because I didn't realize it was Fat Tuesday, and now I realize Jason is far more brilliant than.
Well, maybe while I talk,
credit.
you can see if you can grab it. But anyway, yes, today is Fat Tuesday, and Tina, I think you were kind of referencing the point that like every day is Fat Tuesday. I definitely felt that way when we were on vacation. Like we drank when we want, we ate when we want. Some days we had dessert in the morning and the afternoon. Like
dessert for breakfast, right?
Huh?
Dessert for breakfast.
Like literally the morning, I don't know if I talked about this week, but the morning we drove into the Keys, we stopped at this place that a friend had given us and got key lime pie for breakfast. Like that was our first stop, was everybody gets key lime pie for breakfast. So.
But that's like, you know, when in Rome, right? Like key lime pie from the Florida Keys there's no other place in the world to have it quite like that.
Right. Now this is just a side note and it's probably something I should look into, but why is key lime pie so popular in the Keys? And do they grow limes there?
Is it called key lime pie because of the Keys?
Well, I'm assuming the key part is because of Florida Keys.
I'm assuming too, but that's a total assumption. So, I mean, and I think that flavor, that sort of, you know, citrusy, sour, you know, that comes with the lime, I feel like that really helps cool a person off in the hot weather.
Oh my gosh. I mean, really, it's good any time of the day. I can be a testament to that because we had it for breakfast and it was lovely. And one night for dessert, we had it was key lime 3 ways. And it was like a sorbet, a mini key lime cheesecake, and then a maybe donut that had a key lime filling or something like that.
Jason has got some information. The sweet and tart pie reportedly originated in Key West, Florida in the late 19th century. The use of sweetened condensed milk, which is an amazing ingredient, an essential ingredient, is probably because fresh milk and refrigeration were uncommon in the isolated Florida Keys.
Huh. Until the 1930s. I'll fill in the sentence. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I mean, if we're starting with the basis of key lime pie being sweetened condensed milk, and then we just go from there, we understand why it's so amazing.
Yeah, and so literally it's called key lime because it is from the Keys. Well, what a great way to start your day down there. And here's that meme that you were talking about.
Yeah. So
medium chunky salsa.
Yeah, medium chunky, and then on top it says, "Me too, salsa. Me too." Tina, are you crying behind the meme? Is it so funny you're crying today?
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Me too, salsa. Me too.
I
I don't
know.
know if you saw, I put it up kind of quick, but Stephen in Fond du Lac mentioned that his wife made homemade chocolate espresso pudding filled punchki for the occasion today. And I think a road trip to Fond du Lac is now in order.
I mean, I feel like those should have been shipped. We should have had them for on the show today.
Yeah, Stephen, we needed to coordinate this. We could be like taking a bite into one right now and then,
Tina,
yeah.
if you were going to pick one thing, since it's officially Fat Tuesday, that would be an lunch indulgence for you, what would you pick?
I have really been craving a slice of my mom's apple pie recently. No, I know that
Mm.
that doesn't seem like too indulgent, but my gosh, I could really
So
tuck into a good
you're
apple
going
pie.
to the sweet department.
Yeah, but you can kind of convince yourself that there's some health benefits to an apple pie because of the apples.
No, but it's Fat Tuesday. That should not even be a discussion point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what about you? Give me an idea. Where would you go with
Well, I
that?
mean, my first thought, this is something like we love, but we don't typically get, is the cheese curds from Courthouse Pub that are served with the raspberry jelly. Like that was kind of where
Yeah. I can't hold out till only Fat Tuesday for those. They're so
I
good.
know. We don't get them all the time, but they are really good. I think Ryan's on York always had the fried cheese that they had, again, some kind of jelly with them. Amazing. That would be something.
Remember Warren's? Warren's used to have deep fried mac and cheese. So they were like little triangular shaped bites of mac and cheese. My son loved those. Those were quite
Do you
decadent.
know that City Limits in town does have those on the kids menu and as an appetizer?
What? He'll be so happy to know that because he hasn't found someplace else that has them.
And
But
a great Friday night fish fry since we're at it.
so City Limits isn't just for like a banquet or an event. They have just a
No.
regular walk-in restaurant. I didn't know that.
Yes. Especially like during, I don't know. We'd have to look at their hours. Tuesday through Sunday or Tuesday through Saturday. I think they have brunch on Sunday mornings even, but Friday night fish fry is a yes. They know how to do it and they do it well.
That makes me think of this meme we were talking about, like, what would you eat on Fat Tuesday? Here's this little girl just covered in chocolate cake and frosting, and it says, "My only goal in life is to reach this level of unbotheredness."
I really have a mental problem with this as a mom. I don't think I have pictures of the girls where they've dug into things. And in fact, I'm pretty sure I have a chocolate cake picture of Nora. That's pretty bad. And I think spaghetti with Josie, but not this bad. Like, this is kind of like, where do I start? What
It
do I do?
almost looks like she had help getting into that condition.
Yeah, maybe. You're right. It's so face mask like.
Yeah,
It's real bad.
yeah. No, I'm not saying I would want to be in this particular condition, but I like the concept of the unbotheredness, right?
Yeah.
Because clearly this is a picture like as moms, like, oh my God, no, don't go there, right? But to be at that level of unbotheredness is something kind of zen, I think.
Yeah, there
And for
is
Fat Tuesday.
you know, I've heard this as I entered my 40th year of life last year. I was coached by, I'm going to call them mentor women who said it's the F it 40s because you kind of reach the point where you just no longer care. And I will just say in my early 40s, I'm not quite there yet. I look and aspire to the unbotheredness that hopefully will come as it's something to look forward to in my 40s.
It does make life easier to be bothered by less stuff. Jason
Right.
is an artist, and once upon a time, he would, when he would come home and touch something, there would always be paint left, right? Like it might be on the wall or a doorknob or my jacket, and it used to like drive me crazy. And then I thought, you know what? The art he's creating is awesome. It makes him
Mhm.
happy. It's contributing something cool to the world. What does it matter if there's a little paint on the doorknob? It'll come off. And if it doesn't,
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
It took a
And
while to get there, though.
yeah, his mark is permanently on me then, right?
Right, right.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I think that's like, we've talked about mindset. Yeah, Jason said now it's flour. Um, I think that's one of those things that, like, I actually just had a conversation with my middle this morning because she's working on homework to get caught up with school, and her sister's already caught up and she's not. And so we've been working each night on, trying to get caught up. And I said to her, she said, I spent all night last night doing homework and the other girls didn't have to do it. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to spend like an hour and a half with just me in the kitchen. I was making dinner and she was working on schoolwork and we were doing it together. So I said, you got to hang out with me one on one, and you only had to do one chore last night. And the other girls had to do multiple chores because they were home and they were well and they were helping. So I'm like, if you think about this is just a mindset thing. Like, let's see the positive in this. And so, every day we have that choice, right?
Right. And good job turning that around.
Yeah.
That must be a challenge as a parent to have multiple children and then have to handle that equitability issue.
Right. Right. And I mean, it's the other two were much more determined to get their homework done. Like they would just sit down and plow through it and, work it, where the level of attention span in my middle is just not as long. So she needs more breaks. And that's why we are where we are. It's not a bad thing. It's just a reality. But I was like, Josie, we totally got to hang out last night. Like, you're fine. And her teacher is so fine with it. So I'm like, everything is fine. But
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, we got to help my son do some homework last night too. He had to do some creative writing. So we sat down, we're like, let's just talk about this topic and like spark some ideas. And then you can sit down and do your writing, but at least we'll have like this. We had ended up having a really good discussion. So it was kind of fun.
It's really
But
cool
going
to
back to
hear that even in high school, like, I feel like as Grace has got older, we don't engage with her on homework as much. It's really cool that you're still finding ways to interact and be part of that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it keeps him inspired too, that he thinks, okay, if mom and dad are involved, if they're caring about it, if they're talking about it, I can keep doing this, right? Like I don't want him to lose interest.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I
Hey,
mean,
talking about equitability, are your kids, do they, having three, do they compete? For example, when I was the oldest, and I used to have to like wait, right? Like I think I was in second grade before I got my first pack of markers. But then my brother, when he was in kindergarten, got his first pack of markers. And I remember feeling like, what the heck?
yes.
And it seems like as a parent, you wouldn't really necessarily realize that, but like as a kid, you kind of keep track of that stuff. Do
Right.
you see some of that happening with your girls?
I mean, there is always that. Our two middles are very close together in age also. So like those milestones kind of happen quickly between the two of them. But I think there's some things that like I'm just gonna call them milestones. So like at the age of 7, you became eligible for picking up dog poop in our house. And that was like the designated age. And so like there's certain things where Doug and I've truly tried to hold each other accountable to say like, okay, even though at 5 she looks like she's capable of doing this, it's not fair to like start making her do it sooner than we made the other ones do it. Do you know what I mean? So I think in some ways Doug and I've tried to be consistent, but I think there's always things that happen like what you just said, whether it's you would have never let me play with Play-Doh in that spot when I was that little, because your level of, I'm just gonna say it, giving a shit.
Unbotheredness.
Yeah, unbotheredness. Your level of desire to have control over a particular state, they wear on you. So it's just not, you don't have as much endurance. But we try to keep what I would say to be major things consistent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And I never really thought about that, like only having one, not having to navigate that or negotiate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, and speaking of unbotheredness, look at this dog. Tell us about Reggie.
So this is yesterday and his face was so funny. I hope you have the other picture. Maybe you can put them side by side.
It won't let me do side by side, but sorry, we can flip back and forth.
Go back to the other first. So first of all, one of the girls' favorite things to do is go through the Quick Trip car wash, which my car was horrible after the snow and everything, and get the tri-foam, which is colored foam in the car wash, and it smells really good. I cannot describe what the smell is other than maybe like cotton candy, and I don't know. It is intoxicating. And the minute it gets sprayed on the windows, the girls are always like, "Oh, dry foam," because it smells good and it's pretty. And so Reggie got groomed yesterday and he was with us in the car. And I was like, "Reggie, look at the tri-foam. Don't you love the tri-foam?" And then, yeah, if you can flip over, look at the face he gave me. And the girls were in the back because they could obviously I was talking to him. The girls are dying. I'm like, I am taking his picture.
Reggie does not care about the tri-foam. He's not impressed.
No,
He's
he is like,
completely unbothered.
why are you talking to me like this? Why is this so impressive? Like, I think he clearly looks like I'm insane and he is judging me.
It's the little things though, like the tri-foam, right?
I know.
Steven's wondering how old he is.
Reggie will be 5 in April.
And guess
So.
what? Steven is going to be 40 next year. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah. Oh man, Reggie, I laughed so hard. I was like, I'm sending this to Jason and Tina because this face this dog is giving me is just too much. Yeah. There you go, Kira. Yeah, sweet Reggie thought he was having a second bath. He clearly was not very fond of the concept of it. I actually thought like maybe he would freak out in there. We do touch free, but I thought like maybe he was gonna like bark at the water strain or something. He did nothing. He just sat there and stared at me in that silly face for the entire time we were in there.
Does he like to bathe or does he like to go in the water?
They're not really. We don't really have water dogs, I would say. Um, the baths, I don't think he minds. I mean, one of the cool things about him from the time we got him is the breeder that we got him from, they like use an electric toothbrush on them and they start doing it on their coat from the time they're very little so that they are not afraid of like clipper because they need to be groomed. They don't shed. So they start right away getting them used to kind of how it sounds and feels. So for him, it's not something that creates like anxiety or anything. Like he goes and he gets pampered, and Patrick that does his grooming, like Reggie goes and jumps up on him and licks and licks and licks his face when we get there. And so like I feel like that's a good sign. If a dog doesn't want to go somewhere, they'll communicate one way or another that they're not happy about being there. So
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Cool. I just
so
got to put this
silly.
picture back up because the look in
Tina,
his
can you
eyes.
make that face? Give us your best impersonation of Reggie.
Was that it? Did it work?
He doesn't have a scowl. It's just very blank.
It's like, yeah, there's something a little like sad but wise in his eyes. It's like he's kind of chastising a little bit like, are we really doing this?
Yeah. Why are you talking to me like an infant? Oh man, the best thing is, doesn't his mustache look like the Lorax?
He does. Yeah, yes.
I love it so much. He has
He looks like an awesome dog.
he has really curly fair hair, so like if we don't keep him clipped short, he actually gets matted pretty easily, especially in the snow. So he's kind of shaved shorter on his body, but the signature mustache always has to be there for him.
Yeah, he's awesome. Well, you know, it's the
Hey.
little things, right? Like tri-foam that bring joy. This weekend, the conditions were perfect for icicles, right? Because there was a lot of snow and then it got warm. So it all got drippy. And I was like geeking out over the icicles. I just love seeing those. My son was like, stalactites and stalagmites.
Yes, totally. Do you remember like snapping them off and sucking on them?
Yes, which I would never do now.
Why would you never what if it was on a tree?
Because that water has all dripped there. So like, oh my God, did you ever see like truly like the dirt that's in an icicle?
What about if it was on a building?
No, no, no.
Is there a place you would suck on an icicle from?
This sounds like a game. Yes, I'm sure I could think of,
What if it was on the
hmm.
spigot of a spring water fountain
There you
faucet?
go. There you go. Yes.
There still will be, like, it's 31 degrees today. There's gonna be awesome spots to see this around
Thank you,
town.
Steven.
Um, I know last week you were driving on North Rapids Road and there's some like kind of cool older two-story houses. A number of the gutters on those houses had them hanging off. The other really cool spot that I saw them at is Faith Church next to Festival. It has a metal roof. And so everything kind of slides down and then it like curves over. And then so it looks like almost like a witch's hand curling over. And then there's all these like icicles dripping down. So if you drive by there today, just take an extra look really quick because they were really good yesterday.
Oh, that's so cool. You know what? And it's kind of magical, right? Because it's for such a brief period in time. It's
Yeah.
kind of like those the donut ice that was on the river last week, right? Like if
Right.
you didn't see it that day, you just completely missed out on that phenomenon. So yeah,
Right.
this is like the day to check out if there are any icicles.
You know, another one, like a cool building that comes to mind is like the RAR West, because chances are it has gutters and it's probably really, it's taller. So there's more room for something to like kind of grow and drip down. So,
Yeah. A couple of years ago, there was a building not far from the Raw West, maybe even right across the street, and it had icicles that were like a story and a half long. Like it was amazing. They were mammoth-sized icicles. I have no idea if it's like that today. I'll drive by.
yeah, if you see a cool spot, you have to throw it in the comments or send Coolest Coast a picture so we can share it.
Right, right. If you send us a picture via like Facebook Messenger, we can then have it prepared to show in the show.
Very cool.
Hey, Steve,
Yes.
are there icicles right now in Fond du Lac too? Are the conditions right for that?
Yeah, we'll have to
I know,
see.
I know we had lake effect snow, so I just don't know what it's like out in the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when we got home from Florida last week, I kind of said to the girls, "Man, we just really haven't had a good dump of snow yet. We really could just use one good big, And then last whatever day it was, Thursday or Friday, the kids got up and they were like, "It happened! It happened!"
And it must even be more miraculous after having been in the warm climate of Key West, right? To suddenly come home and then to get all of that snow.
No,
How
it
fun.
was awesome. Yeah, it was a super fun week. Well, they didn't have school on Tuesday because of the ice. Um, so it just was like it was a fun week. Like to me that again, fun memories of snow days and playing outside and like the girls got extra recess on Friday because there was so much snow and you got to take advantage of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the reasons why we love winter.
Yeah.
Hey, so talking about self restraint, how's your self restraint in this situation?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if I looked at them all day long, you'd probably get immune to them. But I can't also think about like not wanting to just pop one every now and then. What do you think?
I mean, I suppose it's true, right? You get immune to something that you're constantly around, right? Like I used to think that it would be fantastic to work in like a chocolate factory or something, but you can only eat so much and then you're like, "Gah, I'm done," right?
Yeah,
So
I feel like that
too
would
much of a
ruin
good
chocolate.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I feel like it kind of depends what the bubbles are too, right? Like some of them are really teeny little bubbles, and then some are like the pillows that come, in the Amazon boxes, which like my girls love to like jump and pound on them and blow them up. So, maybe that's like a employee engagement team building activity, like once a day you get to jump on bubbles.
That'd be so fun. I know when Teak was small, we laid a bunch of bubble wrap down the driveway, and then he would ride his bike over the bubble wrap, and that used to
Oh,
be like,
fun.
hours of fun.
Yeah. I love that idea. I've not ever thought about doing that
Mm.
before. So let's talk really quickly, and I can look it up. Maybe you have it. Was there any more
That's
words?
it, Steven. That's it.
Was there any more words that came in last week for like silly words that people use in their house?
No, not that I heard. Not that anybody shared on the feed.
Okay, so I did think of one. So we use the word schnibblies a lot to talk about, little pieces, like the little edges on notebook paper. I'm trying to find a piece of a notebook, like the little pieces that fall off of it, or crumbs, or
Like in a brownie pan, if there's just like little like schniblets left over. Is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
yes, or in the context of like the children are vacuuming the kitchen, and I'm like, do you not see all these little schnibblies under that cabinet or something? Usually it's more with paper, but it definitely applies in other places.
That is a great word. And so it also implies that there's multiple, right? You can't just have one little schniblet or schnibbly, right? Like schnibblies,
Schnibble.
there's multiple crumbs or multiple
Yeah.
little pieces of
I
paper.
think so. I think that's the context I use it in, but I guess you could very much make it singular. Like, would
So
you please
could
clean
you
up that snibble?
Oh, okay. Okay. And then could you say, look at the floor, it's all for schimmel. We have to clean up these schniblets
Sure, you
or
could
these
totally.
schnibblies.
I love that you are now getting like German again.
Well, I love the word that Chris taught us last week, verschimmel. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use it at least once a day.
Are you? It's like you're gonna laugh. Like that feels like a long word for me to get in. Like I don't have time to use that long of words. There's too much to
You are hilarious.
do.
Okay, well, this has been super fun. Yeah, if you think of any other words, I did ask Jason yesterday. I'm like, I know that we pepper our language with all sorts of words like that, but
Right.
I couldn't bring any to the forefront. None stood out like hungermentative did.
Yeah. I love it. Hungermentative came up because Nora came home, I think it was last week, later in the week, and was starving. And I'm like, does anybody have food in their backpack? And Josie's like, I got an apple. And I was like, give Nora the apple right now. And she's like, I don't want an apple, which is exactly what you're talking about. You are cranky. You are being argumentative. You clearly just need to have a snack because you're cray cray right now. And I'm like, eat the apple. And then she ate the apple, and then she like transformed back into her kind little self. She returned to her body.
It is really like it's really like witnessing David Banner and the Hulk, right? Like you've got like this raging, like whoa, and then like the food goes in, and they're like, oh, hello.
It's Betty White in the Snickers commercial. Yeah, for sure.
That's
So,
right.
okay, well,
Awesome.
I will continue to pay attention to language in our house and see if we can come up with anything else. But all right, viewers, pictures of icicles or fun snow things for next week, and words that you use in your house that have been created by you.
Yes. And happy Fat Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Fat Tuesday.
We'll see you next time on Coffee with Kristin and Tina. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Bye, guys.